And here we are back again for another 30-minute Rivals. It's me, Marcus, as always, of House Divided. I got my mans here with me, other side. Johnny Oden, as always. How you doing, brother?
Doing all right, bro. What's going on?
And same old, same old. Not so good in Michigan land. Michigan drops their second straight disappointing loss to Illinois here. So we'll definitely get into that in a moment. But before we start up, I definitely want to remind everybody, first of all, thanks for showing up. Give us a like, share, subscribe. I'm trying to build this thing out, get going. We are also here on Saturday mornings at 11 for the Big at 11 kickoff show. So we review all Big Ten shows, or all Big Ten shows, all Big Ten games for that week. Get you out of here before we kick off. So um, without further ado, we can go over last week's game, at least for our side of the rivalry here. Um, Not a very good showing, man, coming off the bye week. A lot of questions remain. Some new questions popping up about people's futures. What's your take, man? How did you take this weekend's loss?
Uh, this I took this weekend's loss as a kind of a culmination of the incompetence of the offseason and the offensive coaching staff. You know, we know Wink has his problems. He's his
Mm-hmm.
own worst enemy right now.
Right.
If he and I think he's noticing that also. Like, man, maybe if I do just calm down on the blitz, man, they'll leave me alone.
He's been forced into it. He's been forced into it because of all of the boo birds. Plus, it's hard to be aggressive when you're fighting for your life. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
It's
So
hard to shoot your guns when when your back is against the wall. So
yeah, so it seems like he's learned, like, okay, let me get them off my back. But
yeah,
the incompetence of the offensive coaching staff, it's on display for the world to see, and that's what just makes it so bad, because you had Kirk Campbell, Sharon Moore, and this was their guy that they told us all, that we all saw. This was him. This was your guy. And, Kirk Campbell, you're the quarterback coach. So when those quarterbacks don't play well, even if you call good plays, hey, you the one coaching them. Why they can't hit open dudes? Why they look like this? You coaching them. You tell me
and
what's
we're
going on,
not
coach.
calling great plays either. Well, at least not
You
for
know when he
not in
does
crucial
call a good
moments.
one.
Right. Even when he does, you're right. If they're not executing, it still stops at you because those are your players. That's your position group. So
Exactly. So
yeah.
this is your guy. So 2 weeks, he had 2 weeks to prepare under you, and this is how he looked. So it's just like, bro, it's all bad with you. And honestly, like we've all wanted, I would have liked to see Orgy play, because he
Mm-hmm.
doesn't turn it over. So that gives us the best chance just off of that.
Right.
So I'd like to see him play, but I don't trust Kirk Campbell to call a game good enough for him and utilize his strengths.
Yeah.
So I'm just like, just do it, whatever y'all gonna do, and hopefully you gone at the end of the year, at least Kirk.
Yeah, I'm trying to give the staff as much room as I can give them. Today's presser was it was a little bit of what you would expect to hear a lot of coach speak.
Mm-hmm.
There were a few things in there that like I I I feel like it's obvious to everyone in the room. It's getting so loud that the beat guys are asking it now. They ask about play calling duties. Okay, is Kurt still going to be calling the plays? And it was like, no, no hesitation. It's going to be Kurt. And on one side of that, I hear you, and I guess I understand you because now I'm starting to, again, from an outsider perspective, just looking at it, it's seeming like there is a strong connection there because I think most first year guys would have already chucked Kirk Campbell underneath the bus. So I think that there is a better relationship there than most. Just look
That's
at
a
Ryan Walters with Graham Harrell.
That can be problematic, though. That's the
It can
thing.
be. It can be. And so is he going to continue to ignore that? I feel like that's a dangerous situation to be in because if the offense continues to go the way of the Buffalo, then something has to be answered for at the end of the season. If it's not your job, being it Sharon, which I think a lot of level-headed people would think that he gets at least one more year.
Yeah.
However, if he's not willing to let go of Kirk Campbell at the end of however this plays out with the rest of the season, it becomes a problem because, again, like I said on your show yesterday, you didn't protect him, right? Like you didn't take the brunt of the blame away from him. So now a demotion doesn't even work. Like you can't say, oh, he's still going to be involved intricately with the offense. We're just getting no. That's not at least not for me. If I'm assessing whether or not Sharon has the best plan to go forward, kind of shades of what happened with Jaron Howard, right? Starts talking with Ward Manuel. He's like, all right, how are we gonna fix this? Last 2 seasons have been shit. What are we gonna do? And whatever plan got brought to Ward Manuel didn't suffice. They went another way. They got Dusty May. The rest was history. I would hate to be in that same situation with Sharon, where he's unwilling to wilt or unwilling to change. I get it. And there are more successful guys who are doing the same thing that he may be trying to do. But I just don't think it suits him in this situation in any way, shape, or form. It doesn't suit Kurt Campbell because I don't think Kurt Campbell right now can call plays at the level that we need him to call plays at.
No.
Maybe he's just talking shit to us. Maybe he's actually going to be involved in calling the plays, and he's not trying to cut Kurt's legs out in public. But either
That
way,
could be true.
we kind of need to see an improvement. And if you're going to say publicly that it's still Kurt, okay, well then now you're putting the results squarely on Kurt Campbell. Now the magnifying glass has gotten even bigger because now we sticking with it, even though the laymen's know that you should go away from it. So now it's really loud. Now it's going to be something that somebody in administration can question you about on an exit interview, not exit interview, or on a end of season interview or anything like that. Like, all right, let's see how we're going forward. What about this Kirk Campbell situation? Do you feel like he's the best at offensive coordinator? If he's not willing to move on and we haven't produced from that spot, I don't think that this is a position for Sharon Moore where he has like a stick to wave, where he can negotiate his way to keep his job and Kirk Campbell. It seems
No.
like that may end up being a decision at some point.
He's going if he does that, he's going to hold himself back and the team back. It's like when you start to become more successful and focused in life. You can't
Mhm.
hang out with them dudes on the corner all the time no more or
Yeah,
whatever. Them dudes that aren't going anywhere.
right.
You got to start cutting them off. That's just how
Yep.
life is. Same way with a coach. You can't keep bad coaches around. He gonna hold you back. You the head coach. You didn't coach. You didn't bring San Diego State back. You didn't bring Stanford back. You didn't
Joe
bring
did.
the San Francisco 49ers to a
You're
Super
not the
Bowl.
prodigal son of the school. Like he's a
Yeah,
folklore hero there. So like there was so much leash for Jim that I don't think it's just not there for Sharon, even with the national championship last year, even with filling in for Jim during the suspension. You might get to another off season, and then like you have to understand there were people, even all that stuff that I just said about Jim Harbaugh, there were people who were trying to drive the train to get him out of here, and he just won a national championship, right?
yeah.
There is administrative pressure not to renew a guy won us a national championship. So what do you think is going to happen if Sharon Moore posts a 5-7, a 6-6, and he's saying we're going to run it back with this same group?
He's done. He's done. And
So yeah,
all these, I know we're gonna get to talking about Michigan State.
mhm.
All these games, you need this. You need this Michigan State win. You really need it because it ain't
You
likely we're gonna
needed
be
the
able to.
Illinois one, like you really needed that one.
You needed
This
that
one just
one
kind
really
of yeah, you
too,
need to be bowl eligible now. So yeah, you need the Michigan State for sure.
and that's a rival. That's a big game. You need that because it ain't likely you're gonna beat Ohio State or Oregon to get that
Mhm.
other big win. Your USC win is looking not that good
Not great,
anymore.
not
You
great.
know what I'm saying? So you really need you need to get it together and put something together before the end of this year.
Yeah.
Like, because right now it's looking horrible, really.
I I thought again he should have taken the play calling duties away, and at the end of the season, maybe we look for an adult shades of what happened here in Columbus. With Chip Kelly. Excuse me. And then at least that allows you to be able to retain Kirk Campbell. I don't see a scenario unless we do a complete 180, which is probably not going to happen at this late stage in the season, that he stays in the capacity that he's in now. At least if you soften the blow, you take the attention off of him and you can make your adjustments in the offseason. He's still a good recruiter, right? He got our next two classes of quarterbacks set with pretty highly rated guys. So it's not like he doesn't add value. It's there's not a lot of forward thinking happening here, I don't think. And
This is my thing with him.
yeah.
It seems like he's a good recruiter.
Mhm.
I don't feel like he's a good quarterback coach, if I'm gonna be honest.
Do you feel like JJ improved over from 2022 to 2023? I guess would be his shining achievement if he had to hold something up. Is how much JJ improved from 22 to 23. I mean, now,
Marginal,
even with that, I was gonna
marginally,
say, even with that, you gotta weigh that off of what you haven't done with the next crop of guys. Like,
I think he got marginally better, but I think that could be him just growing as a player anyway, because he's played so much and he's learning,
yeah,
So I can't say JJ didn't get so much better. He just looked like a guy that had been in Harbaugh's system for a while. I guess you could say he threw a few more back shoulders, and you might say he threw it when the defender wasn't looking, but just I can't say that Kirk Campbell made JJ what he
it
was.
wasn't
He was
night and day. It wasn't demonstrative. Like it
exactly.
wasn't enough. Yeah, I got you.
So now if he's a good recruiter, this is my thing. If he's a good recruiter, do you have to have him as the quarterback coach?
No, well, that I
You see
don't
what I'm
know.
saying?
I don't know. Is he as effective as a recruiter if you take the whole position away from him? I don't know. That's why I say at least Brian Hartline and Ryan Day, perfect example of this, right? Obviously, there was some problems with offensive play calling when Brian Hartline was offensive coordinator, but that didn't mean that he needed to be axed altogether. Ryan Day takes the
Mhm.
play calling duties during the season. He goes and gets who did it last year? Who was it last year before Chip Kelly?
Brian Hartline.
Was it Brian Hart? Okay, my bad. So yeah, then goes and gets Chip Kelly. And now Brian Hartline is able to be one of the highest paid recruiters in the country,
Yeah.
basically, because they didn't
Mm.
slice his salary.
And
He's
he's
got
got
two
him
highly paid
cooking.
guys. So I just again, if we're planning to keep the guy, which it seems like you want to, you should probably shield him from what's gonna happen because this show is not we're not getting no better, man. He is who he is, just like the players that we have are who they are. And it doesn't really seem like there's a marriage or there's a middle point for them to meet at the moment. So I just don't know where we go from here with that if that's the way we're going to
Yeah,
take
because
our
it
course.
seems like from spring to now, they never really had a cohesive plan for the offense.
Right.
When I guess you could say, well, and like I always say, practice ain't the game.
Hmm.
Warren probably was looking good in practice because he wasn't getting hit. As soon as he started seeing the pass rush, oh boy. So the offense
You would
probably
think
did look
somebody who
fine.
was just named offensive coordinator at Michigan would have that, concept a little bit fresher. But um, the other thing that surprised me about the presser with Sharon is that they didn't name a quarterback starter. Now that could be one of two reasons. That could be that they actually don't know, or it could be that the last time they did that, they afforded Washington the opportunity to load up, to plan to do the mush rush to whatever. Don't give them the starter. I don't. I don't really think there's an argument really to go back to Warren other than, he was a better passer than Tuttle. But again, if we're still stating in pressers as late as today that we absolutely cannot turn the ball over like we have been, the only person that solves that for you is the guy you benched at Washington. So logically, it tells me it's Alex Orgy. And if anybody has, if anybody's doing some real work there, then that's where we land. However, I don't think it behooves them to signal that right away if there's any
It
real
doesn't.
question about it. Yeah, it don't suit them.
There's no
So,
reason to tell. But
mhm.
and with them, who knows? I don't think they know. I think because it's obvious Kirk Campbell wants it to be
Someone
Tuttle or
else.
Warren.
Someone else, yeah. Anyone else other than
He
Alex
doesn't
Orton.
want it to be Orgy, so he's probably scratching his head trying to figure out
How can I
which
do this? How can I do this? Which is
exactly.
just
I
you
don't want to
setting this
play this
man
guy.
up to hang himself. That don't sound like a friend to me. That don't sound like a friend. He doesn't have the pieces to do what he wants to do. That's been proven time in, time out this season, right? And so if we haven't had this heart to heart by now, then somebody's sabotaging somebody. This is getting a little crazy now because we
Right.
absolutely cannot drop back pass as much as we tried to drop back pass against Illinois. We absolutely cannot pass in the situations, the crucial situations that we passed in at Illinois. 1st and 10 inside the 20 in the second half, cutting into the lead. Oh, yep. Play action, interception. And it's not like we didn't have the evidence that was a possibility going into that play because he'd already turned it over twice going up to that point. So like it's just doing what feels common or what feels like very easy to come to the conclusion has not been the result that we've gotten this year. And that's kind of what worries me. But even still, beyond the offense, the special teams wasn't all that great, was terrible. Um oh my god, the fake punt. The fake punt killed us. That
How
was a
many
killer.
what happened on this fake punt? I missed that play because I was driving
Dog,
and
it
my
was 4th and
connection went
12.
out.
It was 4th and 12, and they direct snapped it to the up back. Once he got past that initial line of the rush, he was naked for like 36 yards. Honestly, they ran for 180, 40 of them yards was the fake punt, was the run on
Gotcha.
the fake punt.
Okay, okay.
And,
That's
it was at a crucial time too, man. We were getting consistent stops on them. They did that, and they ended up scoring a touchdown. And it was like, well, now we down 2 scores, and I don't know
and
how you end up coming back.
that's the thing about coaching.
Yep.
Offense, defense, special teams. Your defense stepped up. Okay, Illinois was like, oh man, Wink is winking today. Wink is doing his thing. All right,
Yep.
special teams. Let's get them on special teams. They not
Yep.
playing.
Yep.
That's what we used to do. So the 3 phases, they noticed one of them was playing well, and we might be in trouble. They're lacking, poorly coached on special teams. Got them, and
Yeah.
that's what they did.
That is where they got us. All right. So you got any final thoughts on this weekend's loss?
Uh, really, just the coaches, and it's time to get serious about stuff. You know, playing around with who should be starting running back and stuff.
Yeah.
It's unacceptable, bro. We've known Khalil Mullen was the number one back after what, 2.5, 3 games? Three
About
games
2
we knew
weeks,
for
2,
sure.
3 weeks. Yeah. Yeah.
So why are we playing around? Oh, that's something that Georgia or Texas has the or even Ohio State, they have the luxury to Travion, you start this game, Judkins, you start this game. They have the luxury to do that. We don't got the luxury because every carry is important for us. We don't get big plays. So every carry is important. So let's stop playing around. Donovan, you're number 2. Khalil, you're number 1. And let's go
Let's
about
go.
it. Like,
Let's
why are we
go.
acting scared?
No.
Oh, Donovan, you're gonna start the game, but Khalil, you're gonna get the most carries. Khalil needs to get the carries from the
Don't even
jump.
make no sense. It doesn't even make any sense to split it up that way. You want the person who's going to get the more the bulk load of the carries to get the first carries to set the tone. And
Exactly.
yeah,
You
yeah,
know,
very
and
very
that's just
very
how you
weird
go.
calculus there. Hmm.
And that's just how you go. Just
Yep.
like last year. Donovan was in a funk. Some games he would get 3, 4 carries. That's all you
Hmm.
get because you ain't playing that well. We ain't got time to pussyfoot around with you not playing well. So the same,
Yeah.
you have to keep that same energy. You're a grown man and you're a leader of men. So
Not to
do that.
mention, most of the production or most of the good things we get from Donovan is in a spell position. Like, it is when he is coming in off of the ground and pound, right? Like 2021 when he was bouncing up on the wheel routes and he getting his little yards off of Haskins and Corum. And then 2022, here he doing the same thing with Blake, right? Like, most of his explosive plays come when the defense has already been beat up with a whole bunch of power and duo. So, like,
Yeah, and he's a
if
change.
he's
He
not,
gives him a change of pace.
he gives him a change of pace. So if he's not, if there is no if, he's not the lead alpha back. Use him the way that he's been successful at Michigan for 3 years. Like,
Exactly.
everybody don't get to be RB1. Everybody don't get to have 250 carries in a season. That's not everybody's fate. Does that mean that you can't be a factor? Does that mean that you can't be mean something to the team? Like, it's like it's this all or nothing thing with Donovan, not just for him, but for the coaching staff and the way that they use him. It's like, if he's not the number one weapon, then we don't use him at all, and we're just going to throw him in the
Yeah,
corner. Or if he's not playing well, we're gonna hammer this weapon into the damn ground until it does something that we need it to, even though that's not his use. So I
yeah,
just it's the kind of the same problems we've been having most of the season, is misusing personnel. But
yeah,
going
yeah.
into the Michigan State game, right? We got a little brother coming up. Uh, it's going to be tough, man. They've got weapons on the outside with Glover and Marsh. Childs is young. He's a first year starter, but he does present a certain amount of danger with his legs, and also throwing the ball downfield. So defensively, I think there's things that you can do to corral it. My issue is going to be the same issue we've had for the last 3 weeks. How are we going to sustain drives? Who's going to be sustaining those drives? And just overall effective play calling, on the offensive side to keep the ball with us.
Exactly. Because I think Wink can slow him down, and he'll throw you the
Sure.
ball.
Yeah.
He'll throw you the ball, and
Oh, yeah.
you can force turnovers out of him. But what is the question is, what is the offense going to give us on the other side? Michigan State's got a pretty
Mhm.
good run defense. They they stifled Iowa last week. I think what did the back have? I think he almost had 100 yards.
Let's look him up.
Yeah, he had 14 carries for 98 yards. That's
For
7.8. But
98.
seven,
Oof.
seven, but he had a
What was his
75 yard,
long? What was the Okay, I was about to
75
say
yard. So,
yeah, 75 yard. Okay, I was about to say that sounds crazy.
so besides that carry, bro, he only got
They held him
13
down.
more yards on
Yeah.
13 carries.
Yeah. Ohio
You see what
State
I'm
did the
saying?
same thing to him. Yeah, it was weird. Yeah. So, I
So,
mean, they are going to be very tough against the run. They are, because that's how they play against us. You're going
mhm,
to have to throw it to a certain degree. Does that mean you got to put it up 30 times? No. But in certain situations, you're going to have to affect the defense through the air. Um, I just wonder how dedicated they are to what, in my estimation, the only thing that's really been consistent about this offense this year in any regard, which is the running game. So how much have we shifted focus, I guess, after the Illinois game? Are we actually insane? Are we actually going to continue to deploy the same offense with another guy? I just at this point it doesn't feel like that's even possible. So I respect me as a viewer, objector. I would guess I would expect to see a return to form of the USC game, probably. A lot of
So
shell offensive calls.
who do you think
Good.
is the starter at quarterback?
Orgy.
You think so?
Orgy.
Because what did Moore say? He said Tuttle is suspected or something to be the starter, but we got to go through practice this week. I think something like that. He
I
said.
did he named a name? I didn't hear him name a name, but I did hear him. He was very non-committal. He was like, we're gonna see how this week goes. I heard that part. I just don't see how you could possibly send him back out there.
Yeah, I think he said.
Now,
I think right now Jack Tuttle will be the guy, but you have to go through the week and see what happens. Moore
ooh,
said.
wee. Oh man, that's I mean, again, we talked about it, right? This could be don't let them know. Why even let them know? That's not even
Well,
a good reason to do it. But honestly, guys, honestly, this is not a Davis Warren thing. If we see Davis Warren again, I think there's some calculus to maybe seeing some Davis Warren and Alex Orgy. If you see Jack Tuttle back in the game this season, I don't know what we're doing. I
yeah,
honestly don't know what we're doing. If he touches the field again, I don't know what we're doing.
yeah. All the hesitation because he missed wide open guys, threw picks
When he had
when he did,
protection,
when he
right? Like we
ran.
didn't think that they could even pass block. And when you had protection, you blew it.
Yeah, missed passes when he ran. He fumbles. That's the second time already in 2 games. And then when he was in the pocket and had time, he was so unsure of himself. I watch a lot of football. I haven't seen somebody do that much where you can see them second guessing themselves multiple plays like that, bro. I don't know if I've ever seen that. Like
There were
that was
guys
crazy to
open, man.
watch to
There
me.
were guys open too. It hurt. There were
Yeah,
guys
and
open.
it's like, bro, so I would expect that you go with the USC game. I hope that you go with that game plan that we're just going to run it down your throat, similar to how Harbaugh was when he first got here when he didn't trust the quarterback. I'm going to run it, keep running it, and hope my defense bails me out. And sooner or later, we're going to break down the door with the run game and try to win it in the fourth.
Play to win, right? Possess the ball, get points where you can. We have not depended on our field goal kicker at all. We haven't even played towards our
And that's
field goal
crazy.
kicker. You
Yeah,
know
that's
what I mean?
crazy
Like
because he's good.
we've completely taken that out of the game plan, and it's crazy, like you said.
You would
So
think
I expect. Go
you
ahead.
would think that we have a lot of field goals. You would think that we would get a lot of field goals at least.
Like, man, we struggling to do anything on offense. A kick would be great. I would take
We
7
can't get
field
down
goals
there.
from Moody. Yeah.
We
I
can't
pray
get
for
down
7
there.
field goals from Moody again. Shoot.
We can't get down there.
Can't even
So
get close. But yeah, so those are the things that I hope are changed. Um
do you think
you just gotta see.
Will Johnson is gonna play?
It's gonna be a long night if he doesn't.
We
Because they
need
got
him.
two.
We
They've
need him.
got 2 guys on the outside that are real threats. And those are their go-to targets. So I think it's gonna be a long night if he doesn't.
Yeah, we
Um
need him for this
yeah,
game.
we definitely need him for this game.
We need
Definitely
a
need him.
pick
I think
six.
he'll try to play. But if he can't go, he can't go, and then it's not. It's going to be for naught anyway.
Yeah, I
So
mean, and people have been trying to say that, oh, he's sitting out. Bro, Will Johnson has been injury prone since he stepped at Michigan. That's just him.
been
He's
getting
always
hurt. Yeah,
getting
been
dinged.
getting
He's
hurt.
always gets hurt. He got
But he
hurt against
plays. He
Ohio
plays
State.
through a lot too. Yeah, he plays a lot. He plays through a lot.
Yeah,
So
like he's always hurt. He's pretty much always hurt and just plays through it, or he doesn't play.
or he
Got
doesn't
hurt
play at
against
all.
TCU. He's always been dinged up. So man, leave that man alone.
I don't think it's there yet. But we are getting to that point where we have
Yeah,
to start
yeah.
trusting
And
him,
I
and
don't.
it's going to be a
And
thing. So
just to finish on that or whatever, I don't blame them dudes. I don't
mhm.
blame them. They got us a natty. Grant,
Yeah.
Benny,
Most guys do dip
Will
without ever
Johnson.
giving the university anything, dog. We got a national championship out of these guys. It's
Them
hard to be
boys
mad at
did.
them, you know?
Yeah, I heard somebody go, man, forget Will Johnson. He quit on. Bro, what are you talking about? That
I don't
man
even
was
think that's
the
what happened. But even if he did
me
make a business
neither.
decision, he gave you a chip. And so it's
MVP,
really not.
MVP in the game. What are you
Yeah.
talking about?
Yeah.
You acting like
Yeah.
it's
It's crazy.
Denzel Burke. This dude done
They got
actually put it up.
Yeah.
This
Yeah.
dude done went up against the best and put up. So I
Yeah.
hate that.
I
Give the
got you.
dudes that brought us back, give them some grace. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? And some respect that they deserve. You know what I'm saying?
Agreed. Agreed. Let's give a little bit of attention here at the end to our rivals. You know, they're coming off a bye. They've got Nebraska, who got scraped by Indiana last week.
I feel like I should
What do
be
you
like I feel like I
that
should
was
be
disrespectful.
yeah, that was crazy.
That
What
was nuts.
Indiana did to them, real bad. That was real bad. But I feel like I need to be like Josh for these segments.
Okay.
Oh,
All right. All right. All right. Yeah. So
we gonna
give me
we
your
gonna
take.
smack Indiana. We gonna smack
Okay, bet. Bet.
Nebraska.
Bet.
Nebraska can't mess with us. We gonna smack them. Shout out to
No.
Josh, but you know this is an interesting matchup because on one end I see oh Nebraska don't get it twisted. Nebraska has a good defense. They
Mhm.
have a good defense. That was impressive what Indiana did to them. You know,
Yeah.
that the way their offense is playing and the way it was clicking. So I'm interested to see how Ohio State. Yeah, they had the bye week. They're coming in. Can they get back to clicking kind of how they were, or can Nebraska find a way to stay in this game? You know, the longer it goes, finding a
Mhm.
way, trickeration, whatever you have to do, eye candy, trickeration, whatever you have to do to try to keep it close and get it to the fourth. You know,
Mhm.
similar to when you're the underdog, you just want to get it to the fourth, and we'll try to find a way. You know, I'm not sure if Nebraska has the dogs to do it. I want to say Dylan Rayola has something that he might be able to do something against them, especially if that pass rush for Ohio State isn't getting there.
Yeah, that's a good point. That was very alarming to see that they didn't affect Oregon in the pass rush at all, really. And they didn't really stifle the running game at all at any point during the game
No,
either. So it's interesting from that standpoint that maybe Nebraska can have an opportunity. But if you were beating that drum, it's got to be disheartening to see how they came out versus Indiana on the road, because it's going to be a whole different animal down here in Columbus at the shoe. So
yeah, and I see I see I think Nebraska has a chance, but they're gonna have to this just same way I said for Oregon to win, Gabriel's gonna have to play lights out. He
mhm.
did all game. Same with Nebraska. Dylan Rayola, you want to be Patrick Mahomes? This is where you
You
build
better
that
do it
legend.
this day, boy. You better,
Exactly.
because
This
they
is
gonna
where
need
you
some of that for sure.
this is where you build that legend because if you can I think their defense is good enough to slow down Ohio State some. It's just
Sure.
gonna be can you help them on offense? Can you help them be complementary?
Let me ask you: do you think Nebraska's defense is better than Oregon's?
Mm, I want to something makes me want to say they are, but I feel like Oregon may have
Without
better talent.
Birch, yeah, without Birch, I think Nebraska is better up front. I think Oregon's a little bit better in the secondary than Nebraska is.
Yeah,
So it's kind of like split defense in
I think
half.
Oregon has a higher caliber of player, if that
Sure.
makes sense. But I think
Like higher
Nebraska,
rated. Yeah, yeah, blue chips. Yeah, for sure.
yeah, I think Nebraska is probably better coached, maybe, I guess you might say. Nebraska's had a pretty good defense for a while now,
Couple
year after
years.
year.
Years,
You know
yeah.
what I'm saying? So I think they can keep them in the game, but you have to same problems Michigan all has this year. Can you get your defense help your defense?
Yeah.
That's going to be the
Yeah.
big question. If Dylan
Oh, they gotta
Raiola
score. They gotta
and
score.
Nebraska's offensive coordinator can scheme up big play, find ways to get big plays, whether that's eye candy, reverses, trick plays, just great scheme calls to get guys open, and Dylan Raiola can get some points on the board and help the defense out. I think they might be able to stick around way longer than Ohio State wants them to.
Want some
Or
too.
Josh gonna
Yeah.
be a little
You
nervous.
gonna be sweating.
Yeah, because
Yeah, I
Ohio
mean,
State might come in cocky after
they
watching
could.
what
That
Indiana
that
did.
game, yeah. Yeah, and Nebraska could come out motivated. I will say a lot of my wild predictions. I didn't even think they were that wild last week, but a lot of my predictions went the wayward last week because it was really bad. I guess lost out on Texas with Georgia. I had Bama beating Tennessee. They really surprised me. Tennessee surprised the hell out of me. I had who else won that I didn't think was gonna win over the weekend. I kind of got eviscerated, so I won't make any outlandish picks on the Nebraska Ohio State side. I would just say that I think Ohio State pulls it out ultimately,
Mhm,
but we'll see. Like a lot of the things you said make sense. I think a lot of the opportunities that Oregon had, Nebraska will have as well. It's just can they do that? I think
and
Indiana got
execute.
tremendous pressure on Dylan Raiola. Is Ohio State gonna be able to do the same? We shall see. We'll see because they
Mhm.
weren't that way versus Dylan Gabriel. So we shall
Georgia,
see.
let me talk
Go
Georgia
go yeah
real
go.
quick. Were you surprised how Georgia destroyed Texas's
Y-
offensive line?
Yeah.
I
Yes.
was like,
Yes.
if Georgia plays like that, I don't on
But
defense,
that's the one
nobody's
thing
gonna
with
be.
Kirby Smart, man. He gets guys up to play. He is one of those motivator type guys. He's a rah
I
rah
like
guy,
that.
right?
I like
Now
that
he,
shit.
he can't keep them boys out them Hellcats or his coaches either.
Yeah,
But
he
but
likes
on the
them.
field, yeah, on the field, he is a motivator.
He liked them dudes
Um,
nasty. Them boys was head hunting too.
yeah, no, they do their thing. He gets them up to another level. Now, I haven't seen many coaches that can make their team play better than what they are because that's the same Georgia team we seen play Alabama, right? That's the
Mhm.
same Georgia team we seen play Auburn the next week. He is a true motivator. That's the one thing I
That
can
was
appreciate
that was
about
impressive.
Smart. Terrible
That was
babysitter,
impressive.
but a great football coach.
Yeah, facts. I just wanted to, we played that offensive line and we didn't do that.
And we ain't look nothing like that. Yeah, no. Georgia looks good. They look good against Texas. Same with Tennessee, man. That is going to be some matchup when they meet up. So that is going to be it for the 30-minute rivals. With a little bit the 38-minute rivals, something like that. Go ahead, like, share, subscribe. Give us your comments on both teams' up and coming games this week, or if you had anything from prior weeks that you want to discuss, drop it in the chat. Come back next Tuesday. We'll be here with another 30-minute rivals. Johnny, tell the people where they can find you.
You can find me on YouTube, Johnny Olden Jr., going live in the car sometimes through the week, and pregame, postgame videos, call-in shows. Marcus usually joins on Sundays, and we're gonna talk about it. We're gonna talk about it.
Sure. For sure, for sure. As always, like, share, and subscribe.
Go blue.
Go blue.